This is what the kind of thing you're going to be up against. There is no magic. There's no rabbit going to come out of a hat. Don't worry about it. And know that whatever claim he makes, he's the one that has to demonstrate this to you. You are not in a position to demonstrate anything. You just simply have to sit back and say, how do you know what you're saying is true?
Brian does have a valid concern, though, in that in order to compensate for this lack, right? Apologists will quite often, engage in pull little rhetorical stunts to try to put the atheists on the defensive, and this is common, and that
worries me.
Yeah, and that's what Brian is concerned about, and so I think the key is to just always make sure that you're holding his feet to the fire, and again, don't let him draw you into his script. Okay, you just keep remembering that he is the guy with the burden of proof here. He is the one claiming that there's an invisible magic man in the sky.
Right.
Okay, who can poof universes into existence with an act of will, but apparently he can't cure cancer unless people do science. That sort of thing.
Right.
So just start with what do you believe and why do you believe it, and then just don't let that go. And as much as if you see him trying to sort of skirt around it, always steer him back on course. Just say, yes, I understand that, but just as Tracy just said, and as we just saw in the conversation with Hunter, it's like Hunter's making all these creationist claims. I'm like, well, where did you get that claim, Hunter? Well, I don't know. Do you want me to just go look it up? No, you should know. If you are reading a claim, accepting that claim as valid, and then trying to introduce that claim into your own arguments.
Right.
But you don't even remember who said it, and if that was even a qualified person to have said it in the first place in terms of their credentials.
Right.
Those sorts of things.
Well,
so Tracy's dead right.
Yeah, the other frustrating thing is that he's coming at this from, if I can disprove evolution and Big Bang, there's going to be a God. And that's not where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm still sitting here now, even if I agree 100%, and sometimes I will just do that with people. Let's say Big Bang, evolution, false tomorrow, okay? We find out it's all false. Now, what's your point and where's your demonstration of God?
Yeah.
Right, where's your God, right? Well, the thing that gets me is, I think you touched on this earlier, Martin, and I think you nailed it for me. I find that the free will bomb is dropped quite often. Oh, free will, free will, free will. That's all you hear, as if that one word can make up for everything and prove God exists. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right when you say that, just because you're aware of something doesn't mean you're going to take that course of action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or that you even can. I wish I could fly, like without use of an airplane, right? Mm-hmm. Or a helicopter. I'd love to just be able to, zip off like, Neo in the Matrix and, have lunch in Chicago and come back and do whatever, right? Love to.
Yes.
My free will is crying out for that superpower.
You're not using it correctly, apparently. Your free will is not being used correctly.
Not eating enough beans, whatever to get me aloft, just sort of. So there's it's just free will, nothing to do with your ability to.
Well, do us a favor if you think of it, Brian, and send us a note to the TV list when you have your meeting and let us know how it goes, because I'd be interested.
Oh, I definitely will. Can I throw in a quick question?
Sure.
I'm a father of a few kids as well, and I'm the only atheist in the family. And do you have any advice for a father, because I'm dealing with a Catholic wife and Catholic kids who are going for their sacraments and things?
I would say write to our list. We have a couple of co-hosts who have children.
That's a Russell question.
Yeah, and
that's
Jen
a Jen
has
question.
Kids too. So I think one of the hosts with kids would probably be a better hit on that.
I
would just talk. I would just be 100% honest at all times with your kids, and then if they bring up little questions that they hear from religious upbringing, talk to them quite openly about it. Don't tell them, that's, in point of fact, Jeffrey, that's all BS.
Is basically what I'm saying to my kids is, do you really think that's true, and why do you think that? And if all they can come up with is somebody told me, I say, well, maybe you got to do a little bit more of your research. We talk about Bigfoot, ghosts, we talk about all those haunting shows that seem to be very popular we were talking about earlier, and I'm just like, do you really think that's true? And
ask Russell about that, because Russell actually has a really good story about his little boy encountering like Spider-Man for the first time, and working out this whole make-believe versus the real world difference in his little mind. So it's just talk to them. Call back when they're on, and they'll be happy to.
Right. One more thing. Add Aaron on. You need more YouTube atheists on, please.
Yes.
Follow them. And thank you for your time, guys. I really appreciate it.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. We got Leo, I think, was next on the lineup.
Has Leo been waiting? And Leo was before Ali.
Correct.
Indeed. So, 3. I want to make sure I don't hit the wrong.
That's all right.
Leo?
Hello.
Hello.
You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Martin. We spoke a few weeks ago when Dr. Darrell Ray was there.
Oh, right. Do I? Yeah. Okay. I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. I wanted to talk, bring it back to what you were discussing at the beginning of the show. You were talking a bit about the lecture on Intelligence Squared with Stephen Fry and Christopher Hitchens.
Yes.
And Anne Whitcomb, and you couldn't remember their names.
Yes, thank you.
No problem, because Stephen Fry is quite a big, iconic character in the UK.
I love Stephen Fry. He's fantastic.
Yes. And Anne Whitcomb, apart from having a terrible shrill voice, I don't know if you know this about her, but she used to belong to the Anglican Church.
I did not know.
And then when the Anglican Church decided they would allow women to become priests in the Anglican Church, that's when she chose to move to the Catholic Church, because she said that the women could not divinely ordain or represent Jesus as ministers, whatever.
Self-hating, misogynistic woman.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a bit about that. But there was a few things actually I wanted to talk about. The thing you were talking about, the Pope. First of all,
yeah, it's a little mean to the Pope.
What's happening in Ireland, I don't know how many people are, I'm sure people are aware, it's quite big news, but the current cardinal, who is now the head of the church in Ireland, and apparently when he was younger, he was the secretary who went around taking statements from people and making them sign affidavits of silence, to refuse, to not speak of it. At all. And then when it came out recently, and now he was taken to court on that, and he was asked to resign, he said he doesn't think this is a resigning offense. So that was one big issue that's been happening with him. What's even worse was the Pope now, who was in 2001, he was cardinal, and I want to get his title correct, and Christopher Hitchens mentioned this as well in one of the, I think it was The Independent, but it was one of the main newspapers in the UK was talking about this as well. He was prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. And at that time, it's basically like their Inquisition, if you will, but at the time he wrote a letter which was then secret, but actually came out. I've looked for the actual letter, I couldn't find it, but Hitchens apparently quoted it, and so did the newspaper, stating that he threatened all the bishops of the time to not talk about it by threat of excommunication, to only deal with it internally.
Yeah, I mean, see what I keep saying about crime syndicate? I mean, they behave this way. It's the Corleones, the Sopranos. I mean, where's the difference between, how they handle their little issues? So, about this whole, the thing with the kids here, we ain't got to talk to you about that. So, it's...
Yeah. There was another... there was another thing which is a bit more personal. This isn't directly to me, but it's my partner's family. And they were in Austria. There were another case where pretty much all of her brothers were abused by the bishop, by the priest at the time.
So you have, you know people within your family.
Yeah, I know the people. Yeah, it's my partners. They're good friends of mine as well. I know them all. They're like brothers-in-law, if you will. They're kind of. I know them directly. There's a few of them. They know of more people. I don't know everyone there, but they estimated that about at least 30 people were molested by this one priest. And when the parents tried to raise it with the bishop, first of all, the community so didn't believe it that they actually blamed them, the parents, for it and excommunicated them across the street to avoid them, because they were making stories about the priest. And why would they raise up such horrible things, and why would they do these things? This is like excommunication from the community.
So the attitude was, well, you can't prove that we did this, so we're going to publicly smear you as liars and excommunicate you, and it all just
ostracizing them.
Right. Yeah.